Okay, Ms. Shea, we are about to be live, and we are live.
Good evening. Welcome to King Middle School's Go Team meeting, where we will follow the agenda as it has been mailed. Good evening. Welcome to King Middle School's Go Team meeting, where we will follow the agenda as it has been emailed to you and publicly noticed. I would like to remind everyone that this is a meeting of the Go Team. Only members of the team may participate in the discussion. Any members of the public present are here to quietly observe. For members of the Go Team, please identify yourself when you speak. I am pleased to call this meeting of the King Middle School Go Team to order at 5:34 p.m. Our first order of business is to call roll. Secretary Mahalan will now take the roll.
Okay, good evening, everyone. When you hear your name, please say present. Present. Kalisha George.
Mr. Mahalan?
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, there we go. I'm sorry, I kept saying Miss Barbara Shea, and I didn't hear a response. Barbara Shea?
Barbara Shea, I'm here.
Yes, please say present when you hear your name, Barbara Shea. Kalisha
Present.
George.
Present.
Ridley.
Present.
Bodish. Vince Thomas.
Present.
Rebecca Wallace.
Present.
Devontae Phillips.
Present.
Treon Brown. Miss Treon Brown. Okay, Amarilis Jones.
Present.
Constance Franklin. Constance Franklin. Okay, that's it. And we have a quorum, Miss George.
Thank you, Mr. Mahalan. Our first order of business is to approve the agenda. This was provided to you. Are there any changes to the agenda? May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I motion to approve the agenda.
A second?
I second.
All in favor, please say aye so the secretary can record your votes. All opposed, please say nay.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We will now review and approve the meeting minutes from our last meeting. The minutes have been provided to you. Are there any corrections? If there are no corrections, may I have a motion to approve the previous meeting's minutes?
I move to approve the minutes.
A second?
I second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? Thank you. We will now move to announcements. Dr. Goodwine, our new Associate Superintendent, would like to speak to the Go Team.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to join your meeting today. I am so happy to be here. I just wanted to say hello and then also make an announcement, but I am Kayla Goodwine. I serve as an associate superintendent for the Jackson and Mays clusters. I am hailing from South Carolina. I'm a South Carolina native, most recently just moved to Georgia July 18th. So almost been here 3 months, and I'm really excited about the work that we're doing and all the great initiatives that we're putting in place to help students. And we know that we're going to make great progress, and APS will be even better than it already is. So at this time, as you know, Ms. Barbara Shea has been serving as an interim principal at King Middle School. And so leadership and I conferring with Ms. Shea, we've decided to keep her on as the interim principal for this year until we hire to get ready for next year. And so, I know that prior to me arriving, I know it was decided that possibly, I think, get a principal in here by September. But, we looked at what's going on and how things are going and just transition and everything. It's just not a good time to hire a principal in any school setting. So that person will probably start in November or probably December because of everything that would go on that has to happen to hire a person. So we are going to have a calendar where we will start the process this year. Of course, it'll be earlier than March. We'll start the process and we'll have someone in place to transition in as Ms. Shea transitions out, but ultimately that person will start the 2022-2023 school year. So I wanted to let you know that we're not just we're being very intentional about what we want to do because we want the best candidates, we want the best pool, and this timing is everything to me. Timing has to be perfect, it has to be intentional. So we are waiting. We paused on that. Ms. Shea has graciously agreed to stay on for the rest of this year. And we're really excited. I announced this to the staff. They were really excited, a lot of hand claps. And we just want some stability and some continuity. We feel like that would be the way we need to go is what I just said. So I just wanted to announce that to the Go team. And then I guess that's it. That's the announcement. So hopefully you're excited about that as excited as I am about that. I see some hand claps, so that's a good thing. And that's all I have. And I'm going to slide off. I didn't plan to just bomb your meeting.
Thank you, Dr. Goodwine, for providing that information to the Go team.
Okay, thanks a lot.
We will now move to the discussion items on our agenda. Our first discussion item is King's strategic plan. Excuse me. We do not have any public comments for the evening. No one submitted a request for public comments. We will now move to the discussion items on our agenda, and our first discussion item is King's strategic plan.
Can everybody hear me? Hello, hello, hello. Do you hear me? No? Yeah. Shake of the head. Yeah, you hear me? Okay. Thank you. I'm going to start with the strategic plan for King, and that's why I need the screen, Mr. Mulholland. Let's see. Hold on. No, that's not it. No, there it is. Am I sharing? I'm not sharing the screen. Where is the? Just work with me, people. This is not my strong suit. Here we go. Screen share. That's me, right? That's me. Okay, share this one. Okay, can everybody see the strategic plan? Why is it like that, Georgie?
It's loading.
There it is.
Loading.
See that?
Yes, ma'am.
Now we see it.
You can see it. Okay, great. Okay, so this is our strategic plan. I want to say we briefly talked about it the last time. Remembering that the data that the district asked us to use came from 2019. So all the data, all the goals are based on data from 2019. Our focus is on Black, white, Hispanic. The focus is on every student in the building with a focus on some of our subgroups in terms of the strugglers. We have some strugglers and many of them are in our subgroups. Many of them are students with disabilities. So our priorities is focusing on students and trying to get students to the proficient level or above on Georgia Milestones. in ELA, which is reading and math. At King, we've never talked about proficient versus, because we do get lots of children that walk in the door on a much lower level, and to get to proficient is something that requires growth. So we focus on growth. We focus on getting better every time. Every time we take an assessment, they set goals that they will do this much better. We're going to maintain the percentage of full academic year Black students scoring developing and above on the Georgia milestones from 58.3%, to 58.3% in 2022. That's about 3 percentage points higher than they are now. I don't know if it was this meeting or another meeting where someone asked me about the percentage, and that is the district norm. We certainly want to go higher than 3%, but 3% is attainable when you're looking at it statistically. It's an attainable goal, and it's a goal that many of our students can make. We want to look at our Hispanic students going to 61.3%, our economically disadvantaged students, 59.5%, and our English learners, 25%. We want to maintain the level, the students with disability scoring developing or above at 19.6%. So that is one of our hardest areas. It's one of our most difficult areas. And in past years, we had an extremely large special ed population at King. We had usually over 200 students that were in the Students with Disabilities program. And that made up about 25% of our population here at the school. This year, and I'll talk about this later, but our numbers are smaller. And I'll talk about that towards the end. We want to strengthen the teacher's capacity to provide rigorous and engaging instruction at all content levels. We'll provide professional development that focuses on teaching daily lessons in ways that clarify objectives, reinforce what's taught, and meaningfully engage our students. We want to ensure that 100% of our teachers receive IB training with the Center of Advancement and Study of International Education. Most of our teachers have IB training, but as of course new teachers come in, they all have to be trained. We are going to utilize a full-time coach for all content areas. So that is a change from last year. This year we have a coach in every content except for foreign language. We have one in ELA, math, science, and social studies. Science and social studies being the new additions this year. And they spend a lot of time in classrooms, modeling for teachers, working with teachers so far, and they're off to a good start. We've had lots of support this year from the district because that's one of their initiatives, that we should be able to pick up the phone and get assistance. And we have seen that to be the case. We have people coming from our literacy department and all different departments around the district that are coming to observe and meet with us, meet with the teachers, and just help things keep moving in the right direction. I will say, and I don't want to brag, but they've been very impressed so far. They've been very impressed. We are going to incorporate systems to identify and address academic concerns. We're going to participate. We did participate in the Universal Screener map, and we got data for reading and math. And that is the first real data that we've had since we left for the pandemic. I'll talk about milestones and why we aren't really talking about milestones in just a minute. We gave MAP and we sent the scores home to parents here on the Go team on September the 24th. We sent the reading scores and the math scores with the parent letter explaining how the scores, how we got the scores. And I'll go into that in further detail in just a moment as well. We are also implementing Read and Math 180 in our intervention block. And that consists of, it's sort of like a little double dose of reading and math. And that also came with the screener, and MAP was also used to decide whether children were ready to just move out of Read and Math 180 and go into enrichment. So we have built-in enrichment for students that don't need the extra support in reading and math right now. And that will also be held during the intervention block each day. We do intervention 4 days a week, the first thing in the morning. 1 day a week, and please forgive the announcement, 1 day a week we have SEL, social emotional learning, sort of a formal SEL, and we incorporate SEL continuously throughout the day. We're going to, in the next week, begin data talks with our students. We're going to sit down with each student individually, and it'll be a team of us so that we can get to all of them and look at their data, look at their reading data and their math data, and allow them to make goals for themselves for the next time we do it. We do math, and the next time we do any other screenings. That should be starting next week. We also incorporated this year the Universal Behavioral and Mental Health Screener, which we will do 2 times a year. The goal of the district for this screener was, and I'll talk about this one in a minute too, the goal of this screener was to sort of get a check on where our kids are. They've been home for almost 2 years. Many of them have had lots of ups and downs during that time. Many of them didn't come to school on a consistent basis. So we're just trying to get a pulse check of where they are. We have that data as well, and I'm going to share that with you in just a moment. Can I have this thing? Okay, I'm sorry. We also are continuing our relationships with Emory, with the HBCU, with Georgia State. We have people in the building mentoring our students, mentoring 7th graders this year. Our Georgia State students are mentoring 7th graders this year, and Georgia State has come back into our building, I'm happy to say, and they teach classes, and they also work with some of our students. So we've got a lot of things going on. In terms of the behavior screener, we are looking at that data now to see what children we need to provide extra emotional support to, or provide wraparound services to. And I'll talk about that when I go into detail on the behavior screeners. I'm going to move on if that's okay with everybody, unless somebody has a question. I'm not sure of the protocol for that. If anybody has a question, just go ahead and ask.
Ms. Shea, I have a question about the new universal screening. I got a notification for Billy at Jackson. He's a 9th grader at Jackson this year, to complete a questionnaire as a parent. It was voluntary, obviously. It wasn't no pressure. Did y'all send that out?
We did.
King?
We sure did. We did. We had very few parents do it, but we sent it out. Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
because I usually look for that stuff. So I was I didn't think about it until later that I filled one out for him and not for my daughter at King. So
and I think that it's locked this time, but we're doing it again. So you will have an opportunity to do that. But yes, we did send it out. We did not have great parent response, about 18 or 20 parents, I think. We had more parents opt out. So yes, we did. We sent the letter home. We sent a robocall. We sent the letter home.
Oh, you did do a robocall. Okay.
Yes, it was also posted on the King website.
It was also, yes, it was on our website as well. But I mean, I can make sure that you know about it the next time, Ms. Wallace, without any trouble.
Well, I mean, I just am thinking about everybody. You know, we got to make sure that parents are getting this information. I get Remind from Jackson. Are we using Remind this year?
No, we use the district robocall. I mean, we use the robocall through Infinite Campus.
So voicemail. Okay.
Voicemail, text, and
email.
3 things.
Okay.
Okay. Is it okay if I move on to the universal screener? Are we okay with that? Okay, so
yes, please move to the next item in discussion, which is universal screener.
That's over here on this one. Okay. Okay, so the first screener that we did was MAP testing. And MAP is standardized. It's the first standardized test we've given since before we left. And this is the test that the district is also using to kind of get a sense of where we are. So I wanted to start with just our demographics and how many students took it. We had 254 6th graders take it. 200. Does everybody see my screen? Everybody can see the screen? Yes, no? Hold on. I did it again. How about now? Can you see it?
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
Okay, sorry. We had 254 6th graders take it, 291 7th, and 260 8th graders, for a total of 805 students, which is almost 100% of our students. I think we were at like 97% before the window closed. If the window closed, which it did, and we had students come back, say from quarantine, they may have missed it. They also took a screener, but they took a shorter version of the screener, just so that we could get a snapshot. They will take the second one and the third one before it's over. Here's our map growth for sixth grade reading. 41% of our students fell in the beginning range, 31 were developing, 21 were proficient, and 7% were distinguished. So I think it's pretty clear that we have a lot of work to do in sixth grade reading. Map growth for math in sixth grade, 45% were beginning, 42 developing, 10% proficient, and 2% distinguished. Map growth for reading in seventh grade, 45% beginning, 32% developing, 17 proficient, and 6 distinguished. Math, 50% were beginning, 34 developing, 10 were proficient, and 6% were distinguished. Map growth in eighth grade, beginning 35%, developing 34%, proficient 25%, and distinguished 5%. Eighth grade math, 47% beginning, 36 developing, 14 proficient, and 4 distinguished. Now, this is all inclusive of everybody. And so now I thought it was important that we pull out our subgroups and you can see where some of the data is coming from. Okay. I hope you can see this, but I'm going to use my thing right here. This is Black or African American. This line right here is the district average, and we were at the district average in math for, for all grades. This is all grades. And then this is the district average for Hispanic and Latino, and we were at 56% or 58%, and the district average is 61%. This is 2 or more races, and that is 76%, and 86% is the district average. 91% of our white students scored well, not the district average is 96%. That's math. This is reading. Reading for Black or African Americans, we fell at 50%. The district average was 54%. For Hispanic Latino, we fell at 58%. The district average is 65%. And then 2 or more races, 83%, with the district average at 87%. And white students, 95%, and the district average was 95%. Okay, I'm sorry, let me see. Here's our subgroup, children with disabilities scoring developing and above. The district average was 62%, and we were at 62% for our SWD population in the 6th grade. The district average the district average was 62%, please forgive me. We fell at 20%. The district average, this is the district average in general. This is students with disability. So the average student with disability scored at 23%, we scored at 20%. This is reading, not the SWD kids at 64%, 65% being the average for the system. This is with our non-SWD babies. And then this is SWD, 28% was the district average, we fell at 33%. Our 7th grade students with disabilities developing and above. The general area, the district was 62%, our students were 57%, our students with disabilities were at 5%, with the district average for developing or above being 23%. This is reading, not having a disability. We were at this district was at 65%, we were at 64%. Our students with disabilities scored 5%, with the district being 28%. So we have lots of work to do with our students with disabilities. This is grade 8 students with disabilities. The district 62%, we were at 59%. The students with disabilities in the 8th grade, We're at 17%, with the district being at 23%. Students with disabilities scoring developing or above, students without disabilities scoring developing or above, we're at 72%, and the district average was 65%. So it's a little stronger in 8th grade. Our students with disabilities scored at 27%, and the district average was 28%. This is our English language learners, and the district average was 45% for developing and above. We were at 30. This is our non-English language learners, and the district percent was 58. We were at 55. This is our students with English as a second language, 30% in reading, where the district was at 46. We were at 61% not English language learners, and the district average was 60. So, okay, so now we are in English language learners in 7th grade. The district average for a child with as an English language learner was, I'm so sorry, I'm having trouble here, 45%. We were at 46%. We were at our non-English language learners were at 48%. The district average was 58%. Our English language learners were at 31% in reading, with the district average being 46. And our non-English language learners were at 55%, and 61% is the average for the district. In 8th grade, English language learners, the district average was 58. Our babies were at 53 for math. These are not, this is not English language. These are our, I'm so sorry. What is this? I'm so sorry. This is all non-English. We don't have a subgroup in the 8th grade is really what I should have said. We don't have a subgroup in the 8th grade. We don't have enough Hispanic students. Subgroup comparison for gifted identified students at developing or above. The district average is 99%. We were at 100%. The district average for not gifted students was, for developing or above, was 50%, 53%, and we were at 50%. For reading, our gifted students were at 100%. The average was 99%, and our non-gifted students were at 56%. We're at 55%, with the district being 56%. These are our gifted students for 7th grade. 100% of our gifted students were at developing or above. Not gifted students were at 41% for developing and above, where the district wants us at 53%. Gifted students in reading, we were at 97%, the district's at 99%. Our not gifted students were at 49%, the district wants to see 56%. And then MAP growth for 8th grade, 100% of our students scored in the gifted area in developing or above, and 99% was the expectation for the district. Our not gifted students were at 47%, and the expectation was 53%. For gifted, over here, I'm so sorry, for over here was 96%, and 99% is what the district was looking for. Our not gifted students were at 56%, and the district wanted, or the district was at 56, and we were at 61. So that's kind of our MAP data. I mean, the stuff that really talks to us is at the beginning, because it shows us we have lots of work to do to get our babies up to where they need to be. Whether they're special ed or not, we still have a lot of work to do, but our special ed scores are not great at all. So that's kind of where we are with MAP. Does anybody have a question about MAP?
I have a comment. I would just like to add that as our new students come, they will take a modified MAP screener so that we'll be able to get data for those new students so that we'll be able to assist them in any area necessary.
Yes, thank you, Ms. George.
I don't know if I'm going to be devil's advocate or just new Go team member, but I guess I need context in terms of what are we supposed to do with all this? It's a lot of good data, and I
It's not so much
appreciate.
what you're going to do with it, it's what we're going to do with it. And as a school, the plans that we have and the fact that we have the intervention block, and then in 6th grade, we've introduced a double dose of intervention. So our 6th graders that scored in a certain range will have 2 intervention classes a day this year. They'll have one in the morning with everybody else, and then one as a rotation during their day, which means they won't, that group that gets those classes will not go to a foreign language this semester. That may change next semester as we evaluate, and we may have another group come in. We are looking at all the different supports we can put in for our students, all the different ways. The district was very aware that this was going to happen, or they aren't surprised that this is happening, that we've seen a drop in our scores. So the district has incorporated a math program called Amplify and a reading program called Amplify, which is research-based and is supposed to help us close some gaps. But I just wanted everybody to know that it's a hard job and we've got a lot of work to do here. We still don't want to forget students that are doing great, that are gifted, that are proficient, and they will continue to get the services that they've always gotten. No one's being forgotten, but we know that we have to put some little oomph behind some of our kids who are really, really struggling. And, and there's a part of us that hopes that sometimes when kids take tests, they're as good as that, it's how they feel the day they take the test.
Sure,
and so a lot of times we look at the scores and that's not the student we see in class. So and the teachers are aware of that. So that's why the district is asking us to do this 3 times this year. And to be honest, we had to test a lot these first several weeks of school. And I want to say that I feel like it was exhausting for the kids. We were constantly trying to talk it up, but we had no choice. We had to do it. We had to meet timelines. And I'm hoping that the next round will not be as crazy as the first round, and our data will look better. That's what we're hoping. I mean, we certainly want to see growth, but I'm hoping that we see more growth than we anticipated with some of our kids. Some of our kids that I think we expected would do better. That it's just hard. It's hard to be a kid and every day you come and it's a new assessment. And it was a struggle for us because we didn't even get our computers until the 3rd week of school. And so we were doing old-fashioned teaching for the first few weeks, but not the data collection that we were mandated to do by the district. So it's been hard, but we were kind of at the mercy of the district until we got our Verizon computers. They lent us some, and that's why it took a little longer to get them. So,
thank you, Ms. Shea. We'll now move to our discussion item of the milestones.
yes,
I'm
ma'am.
sorry,
me,
Ms. Jacoby.
Really quick.
Really quickly, also to answer Miss Wallace's question. So don't forget, this year you guys have to not rebuild. You have to, we're redoing the strategic plans because strategic plans are for a limited time frame. So
that's why
the one
thank you.
Yeah, the one that Ms. Shea showed is the old one. And now there's going to be a new one that aligns to the district strategic plan. So this data that Ms. Shea showed is your kind of foundation and your starting point for some of this to help you build that plan of, okay, now we know where the baseline of where our students are. And the board has set certain goals, which of course are going to float down. They roll down to all the schools. So if the board has a certain expectation of growth, you guys are going to have to reflect that in your strategic plan. But based upon some of this data and other data, you guys may also recognize other priorities for King. And that's where this comes in as that foundational piece, so that as you have those discussions for building out your strategic plan for the next 3 to 5 years, that's where this data will come in. So if you remember from like our trainings, this is kind of like that information point of data because there was a lot of it. So, it would be hopefully everybody takes this report, looks it over, noodles on it, get some questions. So the next time you come back, or when you have a work session for your strategic plan, you can delve more into it and figure out what this means for the trajectory for King and those priorities.
That's kind of where I was going with it. So thank you, because I am new. So has this been sent to us, or will this get sent to us so we can look at it? Oh, you know, it's a lot. Can we look at it? Can you send it to us so we can look at it carefully?
Right. And it will need to become part of the official minutes. So when reports like this are given, they need to become part of the official minutes. So.
Okay, Georgia milestones. Data from the 2021 milestones should not be used to compare year-over-year trends at either the district or school level. As the students tested in 2021 were not a representative sample of APS students. So we haven't really even seen our data from 2021. We had very few students take it. And that's why they really haven't, that's why we're not building goals around it or anything else. So I just wanted to make that clear that the 200 students, I think, that took it last year, 25% of our population, we don't even have the data. I mean, I think I could get the data, but it's not anything that we have been encouraged to use in any way. The last thing that I wanted to talk about in terms of testing and is the behavior screener. And I need to pull that up real quick and just give you sort of a brief overview of what that was. Forgive me, because I thought I had it up and I don't. Okay, so we gave the BASC-3 and the BES Universal Screener. It's a social emotional behavior screener that the district has chosen for us to use. And it's designed to assess behavioral and emotional strength and growth opportunities in our students. It's just for screening purposes. It does not diagnose anything. What it's done for us, it's allowed us to put students on our radar who may not have been on our radar and give us a chance with our care team to try to support those kids who may be emotionally having some struggles. It's an evidence-based pathway for students to get additional support to focus on attention on those students with the highest needs. We can provide counseling by our counselors, group sessions, our care team, and mentoring. I just want to let you know, students were screened between the 16th of September and October 1st. The teachers completed screeners on students between September 16th and October 1st. Parents had the option to screen students between September 16th and October 1st. We will do it again in the spring. They're asking that we do it twice a year, and that our desire is to support the students and to decrease the number of students whose results may identify them as having concerns on the first round of screening. Our results were that we screened 775 kids, 40 teachers completed the screeners, 18 parents completed the screeners, 77% of our students who were screened were in the normal range, 10% fell in a caution range, and 13 were in the extremely elevated range. Counselors, the social worker, our MTSS specialist, behavior specialist, graduation coach, have reviewed the data of high-risk students and are putting supports in place. Many of the students have been referred to our care team for further support, and student reports will be sent home within the next few weeks. The little problem with the student reports is that they are reports that we have to print one at a time. We cannot batch report, we can't do that. So it's taking us a little longer because they also have to be reported, printed in color. And we are limited in how many color printers we have in our building. So it's just going to take us a little longer to get the data out. Any questions about the behavioral screener? The last thing that I wanted to talk about was school leveling. So the budgets were just reevaluated, looked at, and King is slated to lose a special ed teacher. And I think it's ironic that I just went over all that data. Our numbers are low. We're down 30 kids from our projected enrollment in special ed. And so we are slated to lose a teacher. It is my hope with the money we have left in our general budget that we can buy that teacher and keep her here. That would be extremely disruptive. It would change the whole, it would change a lot of things going on, the kids with our special ed kids, because the teacher that we would lose is a teacher who teaches primarily resource kids. And that means kids that go to her and she is their primary teacher. So we are working with HR, trying to figure out where I can find the money to keep her on for this year. The other thing is that we want to use what's left of our care money to buy an additional clerk for our front office. We are really understaffed in the front office. It's just tough. It's tough for Ms. Fight, our one little clerk in the front office, to just deal with all the stuff she's supposed to deal with in her general job, and then just all the ins and outs of being in the front office every day. So we're looking for that money to see if we can't hire an additional clerk to provide extra support in our front office for parents, for kids, for everybody. That is the plan, and I'm hoping that will come to fruition. So that's kind of where we are with school leveling. And I'm hoping that special ed will kind of change their mind, but right now it's about the money, and they said no. So we're going to just try to find a plan B to keep our teachers in place. Yeah. So.
Thank you. We will now move on to information items. And our first information item is Parent Night. Parent Night is going to be October 19th at 5:30 p.m. First, we'll have our Title I meeting, which will be presented on our King YouTube channel. And immediately after that, the Title I presentation, the Parent Night will start. Zoom links will be posted soon in our students' Google Classrooms. They'll also be sent out through APS Robo email and text. And so we're looking forward to seeing our parents meet with us online that evening.
They'll be seeing, the grade levels will get to speak to parents that night. We didn't do that at curriculum night. Curriculum night was totally on YouTube. So we wanted a chance for parents to actually meet the teachers that their kids see every day and ask questions and schedule conferences and all of those things. Immunizations, we have the 7th grade, there's an immunization that most 7th graders need to get. And we have about 100 students that did not get it. So I'm just letting you know that there'll be a robocall going out tonight to those 100 students, not to everybody, saying to please look in your child's book bag for the letter that came home from the nurse today because they did not get the 7th grade immunization. I'm trying to think. Any questions about that? I would like to share the fact that there's a site out, there's several sites out there, I think, that the children have sort of created. And one of them is called well, I think it's supposed to be King Folks, but it's misspelled, so it says King Flocks. And they have created a Spirit Week list of things that you can wear to school, and have convinced a lot of students in our building that it's real. It's from our website. So if any of your children decide they need to wear pajamas tomorrow, that's not true. We are not wearing pajamas tomorrow. I mean, they're very creative, and I'll be honest with you, the things that they came up with were adorable. 90s day, they're gonna dress like the 90s. And I'm like, how did we dress in the 90s? And they've done those things. So it's all been extremely appropriate. But I did get on the intercom today to let them know that. Hold on one second.
You're on mute, Ms. Shea.
Yeah, I don't.
Is it good now? So sorry.
Yes.
I promise you I didn't touch it. Red Ribbon Week is at the end of October, and I did make an announcement today to let the kids know that that is a week where we dress differently every day. It'll be a Spirit Week, and that if they have suggestions to make about what one day should be, that they can certainly write a note to their counselor, and give some suggestions. But we always do things on during Red Ribbon Week, and the kids will have an opportunity to dress a little strangely or funly or whatever the word is for the last week in October. I believe that's all the information items that I have right now. I don't know. I will say one more thing. There was an Instagram post made today that talked about someone coming up here tomorrow and shooting up the school. And as soon as we saw it, it was reported to us by kids. It was reported to us by parents. And I certainly reached out to APS police. I reached out to student discipline, and we have a plan in place for that tomorrow. But the student who wrote it won't be attending school tomorrow because he wrote it for the most part. And we are dealing with that in a very aggressive manner because we don't take any of that lightly. So if you hear someone, if your kids talk about it, please reassure them that we are aware, that we know. Many of them know we know because they came and told us. But we are handling that and using all our district resources to make sure we are just fine here tomorrow. I think it was pretty much an angry student, got mad because he had some days of suspension and made a mistake and made a big threat to us. And we don't take that lightly at all. So if that comes, I mean, we've heard it even since this meeting started. I've had messages from parents that I will call as soon as we're done and let them know that we are totally aware and doing everything we can to make sure that everybody's safe and sound in the building tomorrow. Other than that, I don't have anything else.
Thank you. Our next Go Team meeting will be held virtually on November 11th at 5:30 p.m. Are there any additional announcements?
Can we ask questions?
Yes.
I don't have an announcement, but I have a question.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I'm just trying to figure out what, so is the next meeting, do we have a schedule in terms of when we're to be working on the strategic plan? And I mean, I've attended the orientation and I'm attending all the strategic planning training sessions, but do we start that? When do we start that? I guess is my question.
So if I may, Ms. Shea?
Yes, please.
Okay. So the goal is that your new strategic plan and your priorities are ranked around the middle of January. We're telling everybody a soft date is January 15th because you need to have that strategic plan and those priorities ranked before you begin the budget discussion, right? Because that strategic plan and those priorities guide how you allocate your resources. And if you think about it like building a house, you can't build the roof until you have the walls, and you can't build the walls until you have the foundation. So because your strategic plan is this 3 to 5 year plan, you have to rank those priorities to make sure that you get that foundation first and then the walls and then the roof. So, you know, like next year, you would rank your priorities so that you go towards that foundation, put money into the foundation and no money into the roof. Does that help with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I just kind of didn't know like what our schedule was for that, and just kind of attending every meeting and
right. I mean,
to figure out what we're supposed to be doing every week, every month.
Some teams are going to try to finish it before they go off on winter break. So, you know, that changes that timeline a little bit, but it is a requirement to finish it before you start discussing the budget. So that's why we want it kind of done mid-January-ish. We don't know when principals are going to get their allocations. And I know also that a lot of teams are planning work sessions because the advantage of a work session is even though it has to be noticed like a regular meeting and the public has to be able to observe, you don't need a quorum because you don't take action. So like, you know, if only 4 of you can get together to like do a deep dive into the data and come up with a draft, then everybody else can see it. Now, the goal is the work session. We would like everybody to attend, but we understand that, you know, sometimes there are times that you need to take a deep dive in a single topic and maybe not everybody can attend for the whole time. And that's kind of what work sessions are for, to focus on one topic.
Great. Completely unrelated, I have another question. Sorry, I'm new and I'm not just going to come to a meeting and listen. I always have to have questions. I've been asked as a Go team member if the school can improve the communications around COVID testing results. Because we know our students are getting tested every week, but no one knows how the tests have come out unless their child was affected by someone in the class, and not infected, but I mean affected. And I'm sorry to keep comparing with Jackson, but that's what I have to compare with. We actually get a remind text every week, how many kids were tested, how many infections, you know, which is reassuring. The numbers have actually been really good, but even when they're not good, it's good to get the information. So I'm just wondering if we could do something like that.
I know that Adam Dancer's doing that, and I know that's not something we have to do, and but I can certainly look into it. I just, you know, I know you can go to the APS website, you can see, but you're right, we only talk to the people who have close contact tracing. We only reach out, we reach out to every one of them personally, and but let me think, let me look at that, Ms. Wallace. I mean, I want to be transparent. I certainly do. And you're right. Our numbers have gotten much better as well. Our numbers were never horrible, but the sad part is that 2 kids testing positive impacts a lot more.
Well, and good news is great. Good news is better than no news. And I just know from being on the parent Facebook page, for instance, a lot of the new parents, especially, there's been a lot of anxiety. I don't know if there's anybody else on the SCO team call that frequents that page, but there's been a lot of anxiety around just not knowing. So I think just a number every week would be helpful.
Yes. Let me work on that. But I mean, I guess the frustration for us is that no one calls us and tells us that. I mean, you are now, but you know, I mean, we put an FAQ about how we run COVID on our website. I just want to be careful, and I will talk to our nurse about how we can give you those general numbers. And I'll talk to Adam and find out how he does it, and we'll have a conversation. That's not a problem. I just want to protect kids. I want to make sure that we're not.
Absolutely, and I don't want to put more work on you, but it really is. So many students were surveillance was tested, 1 positive. That's it.
Ms. Shay,
go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. That we have 2 kids at Burgess, and Mr. White literally just sends, I guess I don't know if it's the Remind app or whatever I'm subscribed to, but he'll send a message that says so and so many people tested, so and so many presumed positive, or like today, I think they had all of the staff and faculty. So it was like 88 staff and faculty tested, 0 positive cases. So it's not like super detailed, but we do get those. I think the students are tested on Monday, so I think he sends a message after that. And then whenever they normally test the students and faculty, the teachers and staff or whatever, he sends a text about that. And it is a constant chatter in that parent Facebook group. So I don't know why no one ever reaches out to you and says, what is happening here? But it is constantly like discussed.
I got you. And that's fine. Those are our same testing days. We are Monday for kids and teachers, kids and staff, and Thursday for staff only. So I can tell you today we were tested and there were no positives. I can tell you that last week everybody was tested and there were no positives. So, and let me look at Monday. Let me look and I'll figure out the most efficient way that we can do it. And thank you for letting me know. I can reach out to David as well.
Thank you.
No, thank you, ladies. Thank you, Ms. Wallace. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any more questions or announcements? All right, we have reached the end of our agenda. Is there any additional business at this time? May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I motion to adjourn this meeting.
A second?
A second.
All in favor, please raise your hand. All opposed, please raise your hand. Any abstentions? All right. Thank you so much for attending our Go Team meeting tonight. Our meeting is adjourned.
The meeting is adjourned at 6:28 p.m. You guys have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank
You
you.
too.
Night. Have a good night, everyone.